Welcome to T News 9 channel. Chapter 16, titled Her Name on the Screen. Jack was folding laundry when his phone buzzed. It was a familiar, almost annoying sound he'd gotten used to tuning out. He almost ignored it, his mind lost in the simple rhythm of folding clothes, a mundane task that brought a strange sense of order to his chaotic thoughts. But then he saw the name lighting up the screen. Emily. His hands froze mid-fold, clutching a soft t-shirt. Suddenly, the room felt smaller, the walls closing in. The air grew thick, and Jack stared at the screen as if it were a ghost, a relic from another lifetime that might disappear if he blinked. The buzzing stopped, then started again. A persistent reminder. Taking a shaky breath, he finally swiped to answer. "Hey," she said, her voice. It was the same melody he knew by heart, yet it carried a new, unfamiliar tune. It sounded the same, but it was completely different, laced with a distance that hadn't been there before. They talked carefully, their words chosen with extreme caution, like two people trying to cross a frozen lake, testing the thin ice with every step. Emily talked about Max, asking how he was doing. She mentioned the weather, a safe, neutral topic. She filled the space with small talk, painting a picture of a life that was moving on without him. Then there was a pause. The small talk fell away, leaving a void that was heavier than any words she'd spoken. "I heard you've been different," she said, her voice softer now, more tentative. Jack swallowed hard, the sound loud in the silent room. He thought about the therapy, the lonely nights, the struggle to be a better man, a better father. "I'm trying," he replied, the two words holding the weight of his entire world. Another silence stretched between them. But this one wasn't awkward. It was honest. It was a space for her words to land and for his to be heard. "I don't know what I want yet," Emily admitted, her voice raw with sincerity. "But I noticed." Jack nodded, a small, involuntary movement, even though she couldn't see him. A wave of relief washed over him, so powerful it almost buckled his knees. "That means more than you think," he said, his own voice thick with emotion. When the call ended, Jack didn't move. He sat down slowly on the edge of the bed, the pile of laundry forgotten. It wasn't a reunion. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet. But it was something new. It was a tiny seed of hope planted in the barren soil of his heart. And for the first time in a very long time, hope didn't scare him. Chapter 17 of the novel. Love is Reborn, titled Seeing Each Other Again. They chose a small, quiet coffee shop for their meeting. Neutral territory. Jack got there early, a rare occurrence for him these days. He didn't pull out his phone to distract himself or mentally rehearse what he was going to say. He simply sat, present in the moment, and waited. And then, the bell above the door chimed, and Emily walked in. In that instant, Jack felt a wave of familiarity mixed with something entirely new. She looked the same, with the same gentle eyes and soft smile. Yet there was a different strength about her, a change he couldn't quite pinpoint. They exchanged careful smiles, the kind that hold 100 unspoken words. "Hey," she said, her voice soft. "Hey," Jack replied, his own voice steadier than he expected. They settled into a booth, their hands instinctively wrapping around the warmth of their coffee cups, creating a small, comfortable barrier between them. The silence that followed wasn't awkward, but it was heavy with the weight of everything they'd been through. Emily was the first to speak. "You look calmer." Jack gave a small nod, appreciating her observation. "I feel different." He braced himself for a question, for a hint of doubt, but it never came. That surprised him. Instead of digging into his past mistakes, she let his statement stand. Their conversation flowed easily, but they navigated it like a minefield, sticking to safe topics. They talked about work, how Max was doing in school, and even the ridiculously unpredictable weather. They talked about everything and nothing, carefully avoiding the past. Not yet. The wounds were still too fresh to touch. Finally, when their cups were empty and it was time to leave, they stood up. Emily paused at the door, her gaze meeting his. "I'm not promising anything," she said, her tone gentle but firm. It wasn't a threat, just a statement of fact. Jack nodded, a genuine understanding in his eyes. I know. He didn't push for more. He wouldn't. As he watched her walk away, a profound realization settled over him. It was a small detail, but it meant everything. This time, she didn't walk away angry. And for Jack, that small sliver of peace felt like the beginning of a brand new world. Chapter 18 of the novel, Love is Reborn, titled Keeping a Safe Distance. Let's begin. After the coffee, Jack didn't text. That was new. The old Jack, the one Emily was used to, would have replayed every single sentence, every uncomfortable pause, and then fired off a message he'd instantly regret. But this time, he didn't. He just waited. And Emily noticed. The silence wasn't awkward. It was respectful. A few days passed, and it was her who broke the quiet. She texted first. "Thanks for not pushing." Jack stared at his phone screen for a long, thoughtful moment. The simple words meant so much. He finally replied, "I'm learning." And with that, they started talking again. But it was different this time. It wasn't every day. The conversations weren't long, drawn-out affairs. It was just ... enough. They began to share the small things, the little pieces that make up a life. A funny moment from work that made him laugh. A sweet memory about their son, Max. That brought a gentle smile to her face. A song that came on the radio and reminded them of a shared moment. Jack was careful. Kept his expectations low, not wanting to rush or assume anything. He was treading on new ground. In turn, Emily kept her guard up, cautiously letting him back in, but on her own terms. And somehow, that delicate balance between his patience and her caution worked. It created a new kind of space for them to exist in, a space built on understanding rather than demands. In this quiet space, Jack realized something incredibly important. He'd always thought love had to be this grand, loud declaration, but he was learning that respect, true respect, wasn't loud at all. It was patient. It was quiet. It was giving someone the space they need to heal. And patience, he was finally discovering, was a language he was learning to speak fluently.
Chapter 19, titled Trust Comes Back Slowly. After all the turmoil, Emily and Jack are taking a very careful, very deliberate step towards each other. It all starts with Emily's suggestion. She proposes a walk. Think about that. Not dinner, which can feel formal and pressured. Not coffee, which is a quick, almost transactional meeting. No, she chose a walk. This simple act is so full of meaning. It's about movement, about heading in the same direction, even if you're not quite there yet. They decide to meet at the park, a place that holds shared memories. It's where they used to take their beloved dog, Max. This choice of location is a subtle nod to the good times, a reminder of the foundation they once built together. Jack, ever the hopeful one, arrives early again. His punctuality is a silent promise, showing his eagerness and respect for Emily's time. When Emily arrives and sees him waiting, something shifts. The script says, Emily smiled when she saw him. This time, it reached her eyes. We've seen her polite smiles before, the ones that were just a mask. But this one is real. It's a genuine spark of warmth, a tiny crack in the wall she's built around her heart. It's the first real sign that maybe, just maybe, there's a path forward. They begin their walk, side by side. The author paints a perfect picture of their dynamic. There's a small, careful space between them. They aren't touching, not yet. That physical gap represents the emotional distance they still need to cross. But the fact that they are walking in parallel, in sync, is a powerful symbol of their shared effort. The journey has begun, and they are taking it together. The conversation that follows is a breakthrough. For the first time in a long time, Emily opens up. She talks about her work, a part of her life that is solely her own. She mentions feeling lighter, a sign that the heavy burden of her grief and mistrust is beginning to lift. She even shares a small, intimate detail. She's learning to enjoy the quiet of her mornings. These aren't grand confessions of love, but they are something far more important right now. They are fragments of her true self, pieces she is willing to share with Jack. And what does Jack do? He listens. That's it. But he really listens. He doesn't interrupt. He doesn't offer solutions. And he doesn't rush to fill the silences. He simply gives her the space to speak and be heard. His patience is his greatest strength here. He understands that this isn't about him fixing things. It's about him being present while Emily heals herself. As their walk comes to an end, they stop. The next moment is pivotal. Emily looks at him and says, "I see the effort. I just need time." It's an acknowledgement and a boundary, all in one. She sees what he's doing. She appreciates it, but she's not ready to rush. Jack's response is perfect. Jack nodded, and for the first time, Emily believed him.
Chapter 20. It's titled Afraid of Losing Her Again. That night, sleep was a distant stranger to Jack. He lay wide awake. Not from a place of sadness, but from a deep, unsettling fear. Everything was going so well, almost too well. And that's what truly terrified him. The progress he and Emily had made felt fragile, like a delicate glass sculpture that could shatter at any moment. His mind drifted back to the past, a painful memory reel playing on the ceiling above him. He remembered how easily it all fell apart before. He remembered the foolish confidence he had, the arrogant certainty that Emily would always be by his side, no matter what. That younger version of himself seemed like a completely different person now. The memory stung, a sharp reminder of his own naivety and the heartbreak that followed. He recalled the crushing weight of her absence, the silent rooms, the ghost of her laughter. How could he have been so blind? Sitting up abruptly, Jack took a deep, shaky breath, trying to ground himself in the present. This time, he whispered to the empty room, "This time is different." And he knew it wasn't just wishful thinking. The difference wasn't in Emily. She had always been the incredible person he fell in love with. The change was within him. He had been broken, and in putting himself back together, he had learned lessons etched into his very soul. He reached for the familiar comfort of his notebook, the pen a steady anchor in the storm of his thoughts. He wrote down the words that had been haunting him. "If she leaves again, I'll survive." He read the sentence over and over. It was true. He had survived it once, and he was stronger now. He wouldn't crumble. But then, a new thought, a more powerful one, emerged. He paused, then added another line, his handwriting firm and decisive. "But if she stays, I'll protect what we build." A profound realization washed over him. For the first time in his life, Jack wasn't afraid of being alone. He knew he could handle that. What he was truly afraid of was repeating the same mistakes, of being the cause of their downfall once more. And in that raw, honest fear, he recognized something new and powerful. It wasn't the selfish fear of loneliness. It was the selfless fear of hurting someone you cherish. And that fear, that was the beginning of real, unconditional love.